of encouragement from my friend, a word which I must share. In the book of Job, chapter 3, verse 25, Job says, the thing I feared the most has happened. My friend Abiud Mohoba, a fella from Kenya, said to me the other day, Tshuma, the thing that you focus on is what increases. Our thoughts are able to attract the best or the worst in us. And then he goes back to Jesus, to the book of Proverbs, where he says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The philosopher Descartes in the 16th century says, I think, therefore I am. Job says, the thing I feared the most has happened. Job was always afraid. You begin the book of Job chapter 1, he says he was giving sacrifices every morning for his children, afraid that they might do something wrong that displeases the Lord, and the Lord will kill them. And yes, the story of Job leads to a point where the devil hears his stated fear and takes the story to God in heaven and says, have you considered my servant Job? God says to the devil, and the story, you remember what happens. Eventually Job loses his children, and in verse 25 he says, the thing I feared the most has happened. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I think, therefore I am. When we think positive thoughts, we attract the positive in our lives. When we think the negative, we receive the negative. And I was driving with Abiud, and we're looking for a parking at a mall, and he said, Tshuma, think positive. And as soon as I thought positive, I was driving looking for a place to park my car. As soon as I thought positive, I saw somebody pull out of a parking, and there I was inside. And you've been with people who will drive around town for hours and not find parking because their mind is not attracting the positive. Positive thinkers have the ability to create parking in a parking lot. They can think good health, because the good book says, a merry heart doeth good like a medicine. Think about it. Do it. Think positive. And let God give you support for your merry heart. For you think, therefore you are. The thing that I feared the most has happened. The beautiful thing about this is that when his friends and his wife have attempted to discourage Job, Job comes through in a positive sense, and he says, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. And from that moment, things change. And the Bible says after that, Job had the most beautiful children, the most beautiful daughters in that part of the world. And God talks to him and says, were you there when I hung the stars and the moon? Were you there when I did all this, declared the earth to be? I spoke and it was done. I commanded and stood fast. And Job understood that though he allows him to be eaten by worms, yet will he trust him. And that was the turning point in the life of Job. I encourage you, think positive, attract the best for you, and know at all times, like Job, that the best is yet to come, for which the past was but preparation. Because for every one of God's children, it is not even what we go through here on this earth. Because John says, behold, I make all things new.